Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to Trippy Commentaries. Thanks for joining me here in Grand Theft Auto 5. I hope you're ready for a very trippy weekend. We do have another new episode and a live stream coming up for you guys, so definitely stay tuned for that. But in this episode, I wanted to talk about the Sandy Shores Airfield. There's some really weird things that go on around here. Of course, when it comes to Sandy Shores, this is the most mysterious location in the game. You have an alien hippie camp. The whole place is being towered over by Mount Chiliad, and it's even home to the craziest character of all, Trevor. So there's a lot to get to in this episode, and there's actually one thing that many people did not know. This is all paying homage to the Verdant Meadows Airfield from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and that is where you eventually can unlock the jetpack. So we definitely have to talk about the Sandy Shores Airfield. It was actually originally called the Alamo Sea Airfield. Let's check out the jetpack from San Andreas and see just why we want it here in Grand Theft Auto 5 so badly. So this is the Verdant Meadows Airfield. Like I said, it definitely looks a lot like the one found in Sandy Shores. This is by far the best and most useful property to buy in GTA San Andreas. Although it is mandatory, you can find some insane missions that start here, including the mission Green Goo. You guys have to check out how the Truth makes his entrance in this mission. CJ is just wondering where he is, wondering what's going on, and then out of nowhere, the Truth flies in with the jetpack. Thanks again for joining up for the episode, guys. I wanted to give you a trippy, chill episode to start off your weekend. Man, I really loved Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. It was an epic game. Still to this day, I think it had the best storyline of any Grand Theft Auto game. And that was because a lot of it was based around the jetpack. You pretty much get it in the home stretch of the game. When you head to Las Venturas, you get to buy casinos. So having the jetpack is definitely a great vehicle to have around. It would be very useful to have in GTA 5, that's for sure. Maybe one day Omega, the Truth, or even CJ will deliver it to us. But thanks again, guys. Make sure to stay tuned, enjoy yourself, and let's get into it. Alright, we are back here in Sandy Shores at Trevor's personal runway. We'll have him give us a private tour. I always found it strange how there's this dog that spawns here every time, and he even has an owner that gives him a walk as well. I'm sure you guys have noticed that. I do have Trevor wearing the Group 6 gear. Whenever you switch your character, die, or get caught while wearing this gear, for some reason they strip Trevor and put him in the default outfit instead. So maybe that means it actually does have some kind of meaning. Let's jump into the buzzard. We'll start off on the left side of the airfield. Like I said, there are some things that I definitely want to point out in this episode. You have these gigantic rocks. There's an interesting pickup that you can find on one of those rocks that I'll talk about here in a second. But first of all, you have this private road. It is marked no access. There's really nothing too special about this place, but it is odd, especially considering how many different weird things you can find surrounding the Sandy Shores Airfield. But you have this giant antenna which is connected to the HUD up here, and normally you can see a lot of cars. It looks like there's not too many up here, a couple RVs, but sometimes you can find a semi-truck up here, so it definitely stands out to me as an interesting location, especially because it is not too far away from the main hangar over there at the Sandy Shores Airfield. Now, like I said, you have these gigantic rocks that are all around the runways, and the weird pickup that you can find on the top of this rock over here. You can climb up and get to the very top to find a letter scrap. You have to collect 50 letter scraps as part of getting 100% completion in the game. Now, that is a Strangers and Freaks mission that involves Franklin and Leonora Johnson, or Lenora Johnson's death. Now, this is probably the most fucked up mission in the game, especially if you read the details about it, guys. It involves this dude named Peter Dreyfuss who murders Leonora Johnson. It is extremely gruesome, so I'm not sure why Rockstar went so in-depth with it, but it is definitely insane. And it eventually leads to a decision that Franklin has to make on whether you want to kill or let Peter Dreyfuss live. Now, in my storyline, I made sure to do a good karma run, meaning I pretty much let everybody live. But in this case, where this guy seems so fucked up, it almost seems like the better decision would have been to kill him. And on top of that, the only way to get a gold star in that mission is to kill Peter Dreyfuss, kind of telling you that the game wants you to kill some of the characters where they give you the option to. Definitely something worth pointing out. Now, this is something I looked at in the last live stream. Over here, you have this cave. This is probably the most mysterious cave in the game because it still does not open to this day. The other cave not too far away from it ended up being able to break open in the next gen editions of Grand Theft Auto 5. You can find a dead body and some other things in there, but here in this cave, it remains closed, and I'm not too sure why they put it here at the end of the runway. Some people say it resembles the cave from Back to the Future 3 where Marty hid the DeLorean, and other people say it has references to zombies. You know, maybe when they add a zombie DLC into this is where all the zombies will spawn from. Hopefully Grand Theft Auto does do something with this cave eventually. It's definitely strange that they would put a cave here right next to the runway with no meaning at all. It has some very unique factors to it that lead me to believe that not only does it have some importance, that maybe Rockstar originally had some plans for it that they have not added into the game yet. These guys have a bunch of telescopes set up. They are definitely gazing out into the stars, possibly trying to find UFOs. And the fact that this is all set up right on top of where the cave would be is certainly pretty interesting. Another thing next to their house is a huge boat. I'm not sure if the residents of Blaine County are either crazy or they know something, but some of these guys have giant boats. Some people think that this might be a clue to the Ark. There's another boat that we'll look at over on the other side of the runway, but maybe they know about a giant flood that will hit San Andreas so they can jump into their ship and save themselves. Well, let's go ahead and continue on. Nobody's out there right now, but a lot of times you will have an entire party set up looking out into the stars, maybe waiting for the full moon party, or like I said, looking out for UFOs because we know they do exist here in Blaine County. So here is the other boat that I talked about. Many people have pointed me in this direction saying that this is the possible Ark in the game, the one that is referenced. I guess if a rainstorm would come and flood everything away, this is a good one to have. Now, the interesting thing about this particular ship, because this one's actually pretty unique, you can see it is a Marquise, I believe it is pronounced. Now, there's other ones just like this in the game, but they do not have the same paint job. This one looks extremely wooden, you know, very raw. So maybe there is something special to this. You can see the big mast on this as well. These have been in the past Grand Theft Auto games. It's actually one of the more popular boats, especially in GTA 4, but they aren't really used as sailboats. That's really just for the design itself. It doesn't have any purpose with the wind. You'll never see the actual sail out, which is too bad because that would look pretty epic for sure. Now, if you continue on along this side of the runway, there's not too much that's going on. I know one of the trailers takes place not too far away from here. You have a picture that is right at the water tower in one of the major missions, because when you start off the game, the Lost actually owns this location. So you have to take him out as Trevor. So you come over here on the water tower and snipe them down. Trevor is constantly getting into battles with them, including stealing this hangar. So it's pretty interesting how in Grand Theft Auto Online, it seems like a neutral location, but of course when you start off the main storyline, the Lost are in control, and then Trevor completely eradicates them. Now, there is a very strange mission that takes place right here as well. I'm not sure if you have to be flying to get this to spawn, but I know you do have to be Trevor. But if you fly around along the outside of the road here, a lot of times you'll see the blue blip show up, and you'll have a very mysterious man and a bus appear. We'll see if we can get that to show up, and we'll investigate it as Trevor. I have not been able to get this crazy mofo to appear. I believe he does show up a little bit after sunset, so I'll show off the air traffic control tower first, and then hopefully he will make an appearance. But when it comes to the air traffic control tower, this is one of the most detailed interiors in the game. leading me to believe that maybe Rockstar had some more plans for the airfield. You can see there's some unique items in here, some equipment, a filing cabinet. What I think is maybe Rockstar was going to give us the ability to fix up the airfield. You can see it looks pretty crappy. It's pretty much an airplane junkyard. Maybe they would have given us the ability to upgrade it so that way Trevor would have had an epic airport just like the other characters who do have access to LAX. Let's jump into the buzzard. Hopefully this freak shows up. I'm not sure what the conditions are. I do have a lot of the other freaks around the map kind of scheduled out so I know how to make sure they trigger. This guy seems random sometimes. Alright, we found him. Phillips to the rescue, eh? You can see the bus is wide open. I'm not seeing any activity. There's going to be a guy come out of nowhere to come and tase us. What's going on here? What the hell? Well, ain't you the prettiest thing? I guess it's just another one of the residents of Blaine County. But thanks again for joining up for the episode, guys. I greatly appreciate it. Make sure to stay tuned. I'll have another new episode. Like I said, this was more of just a chill episode for you guys. I kind of wanted to explore Sandy Shores and, of course, the airfield, which seems to resemble and be a replica of the Verdant Meadows airfield from GTA San Andreas. That location is probably one of the most epic locations in Grand Theft Auto history because that is where our buddy CJ stashes the jetpack. Make sure to stay tuned here to Trippy Commentaries. Let me know what you guys think about the weird taser guy. What the hell's going on with that? Of course, you have the arcs in the game. I do have to admit, the Marquise definitely stands out, and it gives off some strange sound effects. And also, of course, the Karma Theory, the Leonora Johnson murder. Man, that is a crazy mission. You guys have to read about that. Some really twisted stuff goes on. And Franklin ends up pretty much deciding if Peter Dreyfuss survives or dies for doing the most heinous act in the entire game. Even more heinous than anything that Trevor's done. I'll catch you guys next time. Have a great weekend. And as always, make sure to stay trippy, my friends. Get some clothes on, Trevor.